Every year, I draw me and my friend's D&D party for Art Fight, as a celebration of our friendship and a way of gauging how much I've improved in my art each year. Last year, I got crazy hyperfixated on Furbies, so I drew all my friends as Furbies as a joke, because, I mean, if you can't draw all your friends as Furbies, then who can you? But this year, my hyperfixation was My Little Pony, so I gave all of my friends the heads up that I would be drawing everyone in our party as creatures from Equestria. They lovingly accepted my declaration of war, and I got to work. As a set of rules I laid out for myself, I would allow myself to draw any creature that exists in the equestrian universe. I would not limit myself to just ponies. However, I wouldn't allow myself to draw anything that cannot exist in the universe. For example, changelings were allowed, but changelings with stingers were not. I would be attempting to match my friends' characters' looks and personalities to the best of my abilities. With these rules set, I started to draw. The very first of my friends I converted was Hayate from my friend Mac. Hayate is an Oni barbarian / war priest. My main inspiration for Hayate was Mistmane and her people. Her tall, slender figure matched what I had in mind for Hayate's larger body and curved horn, which is actually a racial feature that I really like in My Little Pony. His ears were another perfect match thanks to Mistmane, and I was even able to include these nice gradients on his legs. Now, his outfit I did run by Mac first. This was the only spoiler I sent him, and apparently this is like an amalgam of Asian cultures. So I did make some slight modifications to make sure the Hayate wasn't, dead because of the fabric folds, and then I started working on his tattoos. Hayate is known for his really complicated tattoos, so I did get Mac to show me how to draw them, and he gave me a step-by-step tutorial. Thank you, Mac. I'm just gonna call this his cutie mark with a scar on it. He's just got a really big cutie mark, okay? His hair also flows in his actual art, and I was able to transfer that over to his pony design. I'm still keeping to my rules. This is a thing that can happen. That hair is also seen on Mistmane, Celestia, Luna, Twilight that one time, and the end of the series, and it means we're looking at one super high-powered unicorn. Shoutouts to Hayate. The wedding ring technically isn't something we've seen in My Little Pony, but I don't think that it's a stretch to say that this could happen. To show his regality and his slightly more sleek look, I gave him those nice trademarked horseshoe armor. I was also a complete madman for this first one, and I decided that I would shade it and give it like fancy background and like lighting and shit. Yeah, you can see how bright and optimistic my eyes were through the effects I did on this. That will not last. Hayate is the only one that gets shading, nobody else gets this past this point. And that's Hayate. Next up, we have Oris. Oris is a Leonin game who's also sort of a living star. It's a long story. I decided to make him a Kieran! Aw, it's cute because Kieran is the name of his partner. I chose Kieran for his species because when they get mad, they have a tendency to explode and turn themselves on fire, not unlike a star. And that big fluffy mane is just perfect for our little lion fellow. Now, technically, Kieran are a monomorphic species, so male and females look the same, so I did make a slight change from canon when I altered the face shape to fit Ori's better, but I hope no one's as pedantic about equestrian species details as me. Speaking of details, probably the most glaring detail about Ori's is his bright neon green. However, Kieran can be green. Look, it's a color that exists for Kieran. That green? All that green? Maybe not, but since Kieran green exists, I don't see this as breaking the rules. And with no further ado, here is Kieran Oris. Next up is my friend Jane's character, Wally. Wally's our gunslinger and technician of the group. Used to have wings because of a bird-based deity, and then we had a minor falling out with the god, and the god ripped out her spine. Oops! So, no more wings. Wally really made me scratch my head on what to do with her, but I went with Griffin. But bees! Griffins have wings! Yeah, not this one. She also lost her wings. Ooh. I felt like a griffin would be perfect for Wally because of the inherent birdiness. Griffins are bold and proud, just like Wally, and those opposable thumbs would be perfect for our little sharpshooter. Does the pony world have sniper rifles? I don't know. I'm just here to draw my friends. That and, yeah, I really just can't think of Wally without thinking of birds. Sorry, Hendrix. Oh, and the time-lapse does not show it, but Wally, you gave me such a hard time with the colors. I just could not figure out how to make you look like a bird and also a lion at the same time. It was really difficult, but I did it! Here is Griffin Wally. Next up, we have Bones. And wow, is that the first actual pony of the AU? Yep. Bones is a formal detective, now whatever the hell our party is. Also a skeleton, but don't worry about it. I made him an earth pony because I feel like Bones is just so down-to-earth and simple. Those old-fashioned 60s vibes make me feel like he'd be at home somewhere like slow and nice like Sweet Apple Acres. Also, the time-lapse does not show it, but man, this guy also gave me a really hard time on his colors. I mean, I was really trying to do more than just this character as a horse, but also capture the vibes of the character. But he already fits his vibes so well. I'd experimented with making him like red and then all brown with spots, and then I just made so many bad choices before I just ran with what I had, and it actually turned out pretty good in my opinion. Oh, and he has a cutie mark. I give him one of those. And it matches his saddlebag. Oh, and yes, the prosthetic is canon, by the way. Look at this pony with her prosthetic. They're canon. See, they exist. Anyway, here is Pony Bones. Alright, next up is 80, and this one's mine. Wowee. He is an imp rogue, and his true passion is cooking. I decided to make him into a changeling. Going into this, I was very strongly inspired by Thorax's story with the, runt of the litter, bullied by his stronger siblings, then he leaves to fulfill his real passion. He makes new friends along the way. Just literally 80. Also, 80 can shapeshift, just like a changeling. He can technically only do spider, bird, and invisible without a magic ring, but it's close enough. Looking at the time-lapse, I really feel like the exhaustion was setting in, because I was going through all of these poses, and I went with the mid one. Why did I go with that one? Ugh. I was gonna make him pink and purple so it would fit the more, bright colors of the reformed changelings, but yellow and red are also colors that changelings can be, and Thorax has a darker color palette, so I can too. And here's Changeling 80. Up next, we have Kieran, a Chaos Beast. He's almost a horse. Which, you know what, despite being the closest to anyone in the party of being an actual horse, I decided to make things hard for myself and not make them a horse. I said, Chaos Beast? That sounds pretty Draconicus to me, and I don't regret it. There really aren't any rules for Draconicus as long as it's head of pony, not required, and bunch of other things also not required. I emulated the clouds with fluffy white hair, and I kept the sun. I added a bunch of eyes and skipped the wings in favor of another set of limbs for that optional centaur vibe, and a little pattern of transparent file for the fourth wall break. I really didn't have any reason for choosing the limbs that I chose for Kieran, so Coda, if you want me to change anything, let me know. I'll gladly redraw them. But with all that said and done, here is Draconicus Kieran. Up next we have the Terrys. These twins are a mishmash of everything under the sun, and boy, I was tired at this stage of the project. This is Terrence. He is half elf, half dragon, formerly a robot, also a gunslinger blood ranger. So, I decided to make him a bat pony. What, bees? That's not a species. Shut up, yes it is. And it is not just from the Flutterbat episode, it's a whole species that we see in the Looniverse when Twilight's reality hopping. But those are just helmets. No, look at their ears, and then look at Rainbow Dash's ears. Rainbow is a normal Pegasus, with cosmetics on, and that's why her ears look different, because those other ponies, the other guards, are a different species. Now, bat ponies are typically cool colors, but Terrence here is red. However, Fluttershy is also a bat pony, and she does not have cool colors. Fluttershy might be an artificial bat pony, quote-unquote, which, if true, is all the better for me, because Terrence wasn't even born alive. That man was a robot. Also, bat ponies normally have blue-colored wings, which I attempted and then I didn't like. I opted for the artificial bat pony look, with wings that match their body color. As a brief side note, and no fault to the character itself, Terry was where I started to get really frustrated at myself for how long this was taking and the creative choices I was making, which, looking back, I really didn't think that the alternate route would have been a good idea. I was mad at myself for not making him a dragon, like an actual dragon. I don't think that would have matched well with him and his brother at all, but that was what I was mad at myself for, and it almost quit the entire project. But I muscled through it, and in the end, I ended up with Bat Pony Terrence. Whoa, am I seeing double? No, you're seeing me trace over my own art because I did this entire thing in 3 hours with the power of get your ass in there and do it. I made Terrybot. Like the Sweetie Bot from Friendship is Witchcraft? Why, just like it. But that isn't canon. No, it's not. But there are official robo-ponies. Behold, My Little Pony the iOS game. Hey, don't laugh, I'm desperate at this point. And I'll have you know I am level 94 in that game, so you put some respect on it. Yeah, so I made Teresa Robo-Pony. It's up to you whether you think this is a breaking of the rules and if you think that the games are canon or not. I think it came out badass, and I'm really proud to have drawn it. Here is Robo-Therese. With no further ado, I proudly present my little Osob. That's the name of our adventuring party. Over these past 4 years, we've been through thick and thin, in and out of game, and stuck by each other come hell or high water. These individuals, and you, Archer, I didn't forget about my favorite Korean dad, have really changed my life for the better. I have so many cherished memories from all of my friends. Archer for teaching me how to cook, Gore watching obscure analog horror with me, Nate teaching me who Kendrick Lamar is, Mac taking time out of his day to explain something he's very passionate about to me, and Ren for being the one who got me into horror fiction podcasts, as well as a million other memories I could never have without them. If anyone could show me friendship is magic, it's these guys. Here's to many more years of our amazing friendship. With the sappy shit out of the way, here's bloopers. His ears even come to points, which was another perfect match thanks to Mixmain. Mixmain! Why the fuck do I keep saying Mixmain? Or is it Wally read... Ooh. Wally really made me scratch my head on... Blah, 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 blah. Up next, we have...